Hi, and good afternoon. Welcome to another edition of the Dead Late Night Show. I am your host, Lana Epstein, and of course, we are so excited to be here. I hope you all had a fantastic holiday weekend. As you know, it was Good Friday, and then everybody had a long weekend, and then it was Easter Sunday, and Easter Monday, and I'm sure all of you were in your beautiful gowns or dresses on Sunday. You had your fried fish and your hot cross buns on Friday, and all the beach parties yesterday. So I am so excited about springtime, and then we're going to be summer, which is my favorite time of year. But welcome, welcome, welcome. Today is Tuesday, April 18th, 2017, and we are I think it's about 4 months away from my birthday today. So, woohoo, July 18th is right around the corner. So, yes, I'm taking gifts, of course. But no, just wishes will be fine for me. But I hope you're having a wonderful Tuesday, and I hope all is well. Remember, culture makes people understand each other better. And if they understand each other better in their soul, it is easier to overcome the echelon and political barriers. But first, they have to understand that their neighbor is indeed just like them with the same problem, the same question. So, as you know, here at the Dead Late Night Show, our mission is to educate you, providing you with the information that you need, motivate you to change when needed, and entertain you by uplifting your spirits. We're here to speak the unspoken words of thousands, and we want to hear from you. In fact, it is so exciting today that we are actually hearing from one of our followers. This person is so loyal. She is just fantastic. She is always listening in to the Dead Late Night Show. She shares our page. I just love this person, genuinely. She is awesome. She's very positive. She's a go-getter. She's an entrepreneur. She's self-made. She's a great mom. She's a great cousin, great friend, great sister. She's just awesome. And I mean that. Just an awesome, awesome, awesome person. But as you guys know, we are 20 days down from, and counting, from Election Day. And we hear so much buzzing going on. Yesterday, I think PLP, they had their launch of their rally. And I mean, the place was just swarmed with yellow. You saw the red all over the place through social media. Everybody got their game on. You know, the DNA, the FNM, the PLP. I'm not seeing much from the other party. What's that other party name? No, I mean the other one. I've seen some of the BNC. No, I think they changed their name or something. Not sure. But today we are trying out our latest gadget. So this is our newest introduction to the Dead Late Night Show. I told you guys that we would be improving as we go on. So this is our first step in the technology department and improving. So we are now able to interview persons no matter where they're at in the world, no matter where. We can log you in, and you can actually be a part of the show live. So today, my special guest is Miss Frederica. We all call her Freddie. Frederica Black, and she's actually a Bahamian living abroad. She's living in the United States. I'm not going to reveal where. And I wanted to get a Bahamian's point of view, or how they feel about politics in the Bahamas. One, this is political season. You know, we're getting ready to vote. And their views on the different parties and how they're campaigning and what they're seeing and how they're influenced. So, Frederica, why don't you say hi to the world?
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much to the Dead Late Show hosts, Lana and Peter. Thank you for having me. I am excited to be here. And I'm excited to chime in on this topic, because even though I am living abroad as a Bahamian, I truly feel, like it's important for me to know what's going on in the Bahamas. And so thank you so much for having me.
Well, welcome, welcome, welcome. Now, I mean, I don't know if you follow social media. We have a number of Bahamian sites that, put out a bunch of news out there and all sorts of information out there. And we're seeing a lot of campaigns. I know even in my regular search, when I'm just searching on a normal basis, I am noticing that you can see ads come up. Hi, Gloria. I see you. Thanks for
Hello,
joining us.
Gloria.
It seems like everybody is upping their game. When you look at the publications, it's like all you see is yellow and green and red. The colors are just like, I don't know. So, you being abroad, are you following very closely the campaign trail? Are you following that closely?
Well, I have been following social media quite a bit, getting involved in the conversation. I have been through social media, through Facebook mostly. I have been having the opportunities to view the different rallies and the different shows and stuff that our politicians are on. And because I'm someone that is really interested in what is being said and what people are saying that they're going to do, I have been listening to both the FNM, the PLP, and the DNA. And I've taken the liberty to ask the persons that are connected to me to not only follow one party. And so sometimes you have people who has an allegiance to one party and they will not go and see what the other parties are saying. So what I've been doing is I've been sharing on my own personal page information from both parties just so that I would be informed and those that are around me would be informed as well. So social media is, I would say, the number one place that I get information from, which I think can be biased because it depends on who you're connected to. You are filtered only a certain type of information.
Now, when you see the information that's disseminated through social media, or when you listen to some of the shows, do you question some of the information? Like, for example, I know last week there was this big thing going around where they, were saying, oh, it's going to be free electricity. PLP says free electricity. And I mean, everybody went on this rant. It was in the newspapers. And I was like, when I heard it, the first time I heard it, I was like, I don't know. That doesn't even make sense in my mind. So I wonder how real this information is. And I don't know if it's because of my journalistic background. I tend to question things when I see it. It's an instinct. But, what did you, like, when you hear some of the information that's disseminated, do you believe it? Are you basing or are you judging or making a decision based on what you're hearing? Like, what's your thoughts?
Well, the truth is, when you get this information, I believe in a first response and a second response. So when I first see information, like what is this? Who trying to trick who? But
right.
Because of who I am, I never stop at my first response. I always try to investigate so that I can get, the most accurate information possible. So I did in fact see the newspaper article about the free electricity and I read it and I was like, oh, aren't they really doing this? But the truth is I did go and I did do some digging because I wanted to know what was the basis of this. Was this just propaganda? Was there any truth to it? And so I did do some searching and I saw, that the article, I didn't see where anyone from the current administration said that, hey, no, that was false information. But I did see an article come out after from the Bahamas Electricity Corporation, or BPL as it now is, that said that they knew nothing of it. And today I actually started to look into something where I'd seen Bradley Roberts had said it, but that was something that was shared by someone on social media. And so what I try to do is I try to avoid
Mhm.
taking personal opinions on issues like that. I try to go to the source so
Right.
that I get the right information, because I have noticed that if you mind the persons that are on your social media, depending on who they have allegiance with, you will be confused. You will be confused.
And I hear people also talk about the newspapers to that same effect. Like I'm hearing persons say, "Well, I don't know if the, if the publications are disseminating correct information because we don't know, the saying is the publications are more for the opposition than they are for the government that are present in house. I don't know if it's true or not. I would hope that as responsible journalists, I would really hope that they're being very neutral. It's hard to do, but when you work in a particular field, it's your obligation to do so. Peter, what's your take on some of this?
Well, firstly, it's not BPL's position to say that they are aware of or will grant any customer free electricity. From reading the information in my research, what it suggests is that if the Progressive Liberal Party were to win the election, they will take a position whereby the lowest 15% of the economy or the population who are having problems with their electricity will be taken into account, and that they would be given assistance as to paying their bills and getting it turned on. Now, that can be done very easily. It may prove costly initially, but sustainable. Costly meaning most of those persons already have their power off. To turn it on means there would have to be a negotiation with BPL to arrive at a buyout figure. And once that is done, that can be done two ways. It can be done by reduction of debt on the government books who have been subsidizing them, or it can be done by an exchange of cash, in exchange for the write-off. That's something nobody has spoken about. And I think it's a bit early to know how it will be done, but it can be done. I'm pretty familiar with energy matters, having had a company on the New York Stock Exchange and being the head of one of the local oil companies, having to interact with BPL when it was BEC. So I know that can be done. If it is that should we get elected, we will do this.
So let me ask you something, Peter. So are you saying that there is some validity to that statement that was made in regards to the electricity, free electricity or some sort of program?
It is very doable. The identifying of the lower 15% of the customers or the clientele of BPL would be a bit of a work, but that can be done because they're online. It'll be a pleasure to see those behaving in the 2008 to the present, actually, which was exacerbated by poor management decisions at the government level, in terms of doing things that made a lot of people poorer, particularly with the road program and the careless way it was done. And further, in terms of the magnitude of the spending that was done through non-Bahamians, through non-Bahamians, where the profits went out of the country, which when that is combined with the sucking out of the economy of hard cash by migrant workers. It created a catastrophe, woe beyond to the poor Bahamian citizen in terms of finding money to get. Then you have the banks that take out approximately 20% of the profits as fees that are sucked out of the country, repatriatable. You add it up, it becomes almost $1.5 billion being sucked out of the economy, of the GDP in cash. And no matter what you do every weekend, you see that the migrant workers taking care of people in their country. And every time monies are gifted by the government to brokers to make them rich, or contractors and consultants to suck the money out of the country, it doesn't help.
So let me ask you this question. Why wait? And I don't know if you feel this way as well, Frederica. But if I'm a person, which I am, I'm getting ready to vote, okay? And I have to make a decision as to who am I going to vote for, and why am I voting for this individual or this party? For me, it's based on a party because no matter who you vote for in terms of as a representative, their leader is the one that has the powers to make decisions in changing laws and policies. If the leader don't agree, it is not going to happen. No matter how many promises an individual out of constituency promised me the sky, if his leader and his deputy leader is not on the same page, and sometimes that happens because we see during the 5-year process, things try to come abroad and it doesn't work because of different reasons. But when I'm making a decision, and if you're going to say, if I win, this is what I'm going to do, and you're now in power, I would be questioning that. I would be saying, well, why not do it now? What are you waiting for? If it's for the betterment of us as a people, what are you waiting on?
Well, quite frankly, there has to be a plan. Most people claim they have a plan prior to the election, and that once the election is over, what they would or could do. However, when you get in power, you'll find that everything is never just the same prior to during the handover of the reign success. 2012, despite all of the big talk and all of the bravado, the country was carrying a deficit so huge that the government was about to shut down. All of the credit facilities were maxed out completely. The tax base had not expanded, and there were mounting debts based on promises and commitments from the preceding government, particularly as it related to Bahama, where there were commitments for immediate payment for the infrastructural reimbursement at the Bahama facility that included the road and all the water, all the electrical outlet conduits, and the supply to the area, which are normally the developer's expenses.
Okay.
So all of these things were left to be paid. In addition to that, there were numerous promises to unions for increases together with the public service, which were promises we had given away a BTC for basically nothing. You sold it for purportedly $225 million. Turned out to be around 200. Then you take 100 million of the pension fund. Then you leave 60 million in for the 51% manager to come in to spend on capex, capital expenditure. On top of that, you have various other costs that were included and allowed to it, where you end up with minus $9 million. So really, you gave it away and created another broker to have a multi-million-dollar piece of pie out of the Bahamas. Meanwhile, you're taking out the very singular public corporation that made a profit. And then you put in 100 million poison pill that if you want to get the 2% back, that you're going to end up with a situation where you got a sense for minus 9 million. and then you make it a poison pill for Bahamian people to buy back 2% to say you have majority control. All of these things led up and added to the fact that on the transition of government, initially a $500 million fundraising exercise had to take place. That's just to liquidate the credit facilities to be able to pay the bills of the government.
I have a question though. $1 billion was raised by.
Was raised how?
$1 million was raised through. Okay, so I hear the numbers, and I'm not an expert. I don't know anything about politics outside of my own, nothing. I have no political background. As a Bahamian, I just have a concern. Okay, so I hear the numbers that you're talking about. And I know that over $1 billion was raised through VAT. Okay.
Yeah,
all right. So you're saying, okay, the previous administration left the country in a mess. This administration had all kind of stuff to do. Okay, fine. Based on the numbers you're saying, right? From VAT alone, they were able to clear up the deficit.
No.
Based on the numbers that you're saying, okay?
No, that's not what I'm saying.
All right. Well, that's not what you're saying, but based on the numbers that you shared, but they recouped or added quite a bit of money to the Treasury to help offset some of the expenses that the previous administration had left the country in. Then the country in itself was generating money from other avenues. So, hey, the government had some monies so that they would be able to continue to build the country. But at this particular point, the country is in a higher deficit. Junk bond status 4 times, but I won't get into that. I want to talk about why is it that the government still has to pay Bahamians light. I'm hoping that we could get to the place where those who we elect as our leaders would create an environment where opportunity flourishes. Personally, I am not one of those Bahamians who are interested in the government paying for nothing for Bahamians who are able to go out there and work. I'm saying, do something. And this is any government that comes. Do something that will provide opportunity for the Bahamian people. It's almost an insult to me to hear that we're going to pay your light bill. And come on, when we can grow up? Everyone needs to be responsible. And if you're providing opportunities and people don't take them, then guess what? They'll have to suffer the consequences. But I just a Bahamian with no political experience. But that's my take.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, let me ask a question. And this is something that discussions with persons who's supposed to be funded. Now, we have one government that gifted a broke man $1.6 billion worth of our assets. And we don't address that. We accept that. As long as you're foreign, you could gift 1,000 acres of your best land or $600 million in cash and promise people the world, including their infrastructure. And that seems to be okay, because I'm not hearing people address it. We say, oh, okay, that's done. But then we offend.
I don't think it's done. I think when the administration changed, you now have a responsibility to the Bahamian people. to make them aware of what was done, one, and then two, to see how you can recoup that. See, I'm not saying that in 2017, we will not still have a conversation about the previous administration, but I cannot take care of everything. Everything that happens right now is all because of the previous administration. Where's the accountability of this administration? The Bahamian people chose. I was there, voted. We chose to elect someone else because guess what? We were not happy as a people with what the previous administration do. Now, where is the accountability for this administration?
Now, and I agree in some part with you, Frederica, but here's my take based on what you're saying. One, yes, administration should be held accountable. The problem is, everyone that ever held government, they're all from the same group. It's like a seed was planted. No, I wouldn't say a seed. A farm was planted. We created a farm many years ago, and in this farm, the seeds were planted. They were watered. They were nurtured. They grew. Some died. Some were uprooted and placed somewhere else. But the fundamental ideas and training are still the same. So in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, no matter right now who's in government, they all have the same mindset. So I don't want to hear people that are just talking about what somebody else did and why it ain't happened and victimization and all that. I want to hear about what are the policies, how are the policies affecting me positively or negatively? If negatively, how we're going to change that into a positive. If positive, how we're going to improve that to become number one, and how we're going to move this nation forward. Not for us that's here, for the children who are coming up, because we have a large percentage of our population that's under 25, that's even under 18, and we're forgetting that. We're not remembering that. And everything is the same. It's the same method. Everybody's like, it's like a copycat. Okay, well, they do this, so we're going to do this because we did this. And I was on that board when I was with that team. So I know the inside of how that worked. So I want to be the leader. So this is my idea. And I'm just taking a seed that was already planted 50 plus years ago. And I'm just enhancing that. Even after majority rule, we adopted the same thing what the oligarchies were doing. We are still enslaving ourselves mentally, economically, because we are still doing the same thing. It might not be about a black and white thing, but it's about the haves and the have-nots, and the knows and the who knows not. I mean, it's that, no matter what you say, it is what it is. That's the change that needs to happen.
I will contribute this. As a person who tries where I can within my control to make a difference, without the support of people in government and get results, I know the struggle is real. No, there's no joke. I said I go through embarrassment, huge, but don't stop. Even with training, to find out that it cost me about $5,000 taking a risk young man or woman, train them in the marine resources area, getting them the PADI certification, SDCW, CPR, compressor certification, and internship on commercial fishing vessels to create a whole new avenue. And to find that despite all of the things that happen, there's not $1 in support from a governmental side. I know the personal side. But I try to look at the big picture because as a trained political economist, I look at it and I try to see governments cannot be looked at in a vacuum and only in 5-year periods. Governments continue.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to look at the 5-year margin, but you look at the total picture to see where you're headed. When we talk about the road to junk bonds, the road to junk bonds started in 2008. It started in 2008 when we had a downgrade, and when we decided to do some stupid programs like a $90 million road development program that was given to a foreign contractor whose profits would go out, and who a year and a half later ended up doubling the money. And we did not increase the road. We look at the same project where some Bahamians had possibility of getting a geological scanner truck, but they were of the wrong political party. And so rather than spend $4 or $5 million with a group of Bahamians, you have the whole country go down $100 million. And so when you look at the one and the other, you look, they all have the same traits as Larry made an example of. At the end of the day, there was a need to increase and enhance the reliability of taxes. That's how that came about. Regrettably, the VAT rate is 7.5%, which is the lowest among the countries in the Caribbean that collect VAT. I have a problem with the VAT tax and the taxing system in general, because we have the only balance sheet that the only asset that the government has on the balance sheet, successive governments, is Crown land. And beyond Crown land are natural resources,
Which you can't get anyway.
which
They ain't giving it
includes,
to us.
some 2 trillion gallons of water, translatable into 290 billion in potable water, some 3.6 billion in sand, from which comes aragonite and a lot of other products, and about 4 trillion in natural resources, including marine life, fish, mollusks, etc. And the fact that we sit in the lanes or the passages. The passages in Inagua make water, the windward, leeward, as well as the tongue of the ocean.
That's right.
Where we have no value for ourselves. In fact, we lease 6 square miles of land plus terrestrial and aquatic rights for navigation above and below the water level to ORTEC for $14 million a year. Puerto Rico has one island which they use as a range, and they get $4 billion a year.
Okay, so my question is now, God, I'm glad you brought that up. As a people, when are we going to get to the point where we hold the government accountable for this? When are we going to say?
That'll be easy. Answer. And the easy answering it is, let's say, when people like you and me stop posing the question and start doing the action. I tell you, when I realized some years ago that the thing to do is to both question and react. So I went in a scholarship program that we were able to give 1,108 persons scholarships to go to college and universities abroad, mostly in sports. Mind you, you'll get no praise and no credit for that, but that's not the purpose of doing it. Eventually, when it came down to all the problems with foreigners in the seas fishing, instead of rowing about it, I started the Fishing for Future program through a company I formed called Round One. What that meant is we take at-risk young people who weren't working, taught them to swim, taught them to dive, got them certified, put them on commercial fishing boats, got them PADI certified and all the rest, as I mentioned. And it's a program that we can train thousands of Bahamians to control our natural resources. Well, we never got more than lip service in sport, but I still keep the program going and will continue to keep it going because it's necessity. Now, when you listen to something that happens, like the government says, Hutchinson Whampoa spent $12 million training 300 Bahamians, and the government decided to match it.
No, 6. They went up from 3 to 6.
No, because the 600 was the 300 from Hutchinson.
Oh, okay.
And the 300 that the government's 12 million
Oh,
for
okay.
train, giving them 600.
Okay.
That means that it costs $40,000 per person to train to go in the shipyard, for which a company cannot accommodate 600 people. With $12 million, I could train 2,500 persons certified, get state-of-the-art fishing boats to get them to do it, get compressors to get the conch shells that wouldn't waste, set up lime kiln and export lime, create export industry to bring foreign currency into the country through export. Lime is an essential construction commodity. To do that, it requires money, but there's a catch-22. You can't get money if you're Bahamian without it being a high interest rate. Which means that if you borrow $3 million and you pay 10%, your business has to generate $300,000 a year just to pay the interest.
And foreigners come and get it and take the money out of the country.
Well,
No
if a foreigner
interest
does it-
and concessions.
Yeah, now if a foreigner
That's why
does
I
it,
moved to America, so I could get foreign status to do something in the Bahamas to be because you can't do it as a Bahamian.
But let me just show you. If a foreigner came here with no money, and he took the same idea and went and he'll get a heads of agreement as a foreign investor, he will go to the bank and he can borrow $3 million at 1%. So whereas it cost me $300,000 in interest, it cost him $30,000. He could then borrow more money because his interest payment will never reach my $300,000. He could end up getting $30 million to pay the same interest rate to the bank as me.
I got a tech accent. Which government?
So I'm just saying to
We're
you,
talking about all.
I'm just saying to you that no political party has ever addressed the question of exchange control and denial of Bahamian rights from 1987, when Lyndon Pennon reduced the premium on exchange control from 25% plus one, and plus 1.5 to 12.5% the rest today. Based on sustained pressure, Christie and them agreed to readdress the exchange control so that Bahamians can now raise up to $5 million, which was not what I'd asked them to do. But it made them the only government that tried to say, let's make this work a little bit. And that's what's being addressed effective the 24th. Last thing on that, I had a meeting with the governor of the central bank, to which he indicated that the policy being implemented would take into consideration persons seeking more, because there's nothing in this country that you could really buy that represents a piece of the economic pie that costs $5 million. Everything, rather, you buy Bahama, that's about almost $2 billion. Atlanta's about $2 billion.
Well, the hotel in Freeport is 140 million.
But not just
But
the hotel, the entire
right. But here's my question, and I'm glad you brought it up, Frederica. Here it is. Frederica, an entrepreneur, born, raised in Grand Bahama, lived there for many years, she's been in the construction business. She's been in, this woman has done or tried to build businesses from ground up, from scratch, out of pocket. She's an entrepreneur. Her father is an entrepreneur. It's a built-in, it's a part of who she is. But you could talk about how hard, the difficulty of trying to make a living, not being a lazy Bahamian, as most people like to call us lazy. And I always tell people, Bahamians are not lazy. And we always looking for opportunities, but we're never given the opportunities. How hard has it been? And what has now become your decision?
Rolando, my eyes honestly getting full. Honestly, because when I think about the transition to the US in 2 years and what has happened in my life, I literally just got in 2017 a work permit. But how I've increased my lifestyle, how I've increased the quality of life without a work permit in the US as compared to the Bahamas hurts my heart. And like Peter said, I mean, it may sound like I'm trying to be silly, but I literally left. And how many Bahamians I know who've left hoping that when they come back, they're viewed different so that the opportunities that are offered to the foreigners are offered to us. That's why I left. Could I get a different nationality, please? So that the opportunities that are in the Bahamas could be afforded to me. I don't want to live in America. There's nowhere else in the world I'd want to live but the Bahamas. Every day, the beach, I long for it. I look up in the skies and I can't even see blue skies here in America. Chemtrails everywhere. I long for the fresh air. So why is it that as a Bahamian, I had to leave home to come to someone else's country to live better?
It's sad.
And maybe it's my fault. I don't know. But I know one thing. I see foreigners come to the Bahamas day in, day out and have opportunities granted to them. And they do not get the red tape. They do not get the hindrance and the resistance like Bahamians do.
And Frederica is sad to say because, those persons that know me, I've traveled all over and I've lived in other places. I've lived in the US for a time. And even when you come back, it's almost as if you're not accepted even more because, you sound different or you're this different. And no, I'm not different. I'm the same person that I was before I left. And when I come back and I am just trying to contribute, but it's almost as if I don't know if it was Sunday, but I can't remember which day it was, but I told someone, I said, it's sad because there's so many Bahamians out there with such great potential to make this country, so great. But we keep getting pushed out because we're not going to stand beside you and just do as you tell us to do because you happen to be in government. We're not going to agree with everything. A healthy society is one where you have people of different opinions. That's healthy. Yeah. It's healthy for me to believe something and you to disagree with that. That's not unhealthy because you have to have a combination of people. If we're all thinking the same way and doing the same thing and acting the same way, we're in trouble.
Yeah, I agree.
That is a big, big problem. But what happens is you get shut out, you get ostracized. Well, who you know? Why do you have, what's so sad? You will send a business email or you will call a point of business, a place of business. And they will tell you that they have a department in which you're trying to reach, but they don't want to tell you who to talk to in the department. They don't want to give you the department name. So why have the department? Why do I have to know someone in order to have a business conversation? At least give me the right of refusal. At least tell me, hear what I have to say, and then tell me no. I prefer that than for you to ignore my calls, ignore my messages, don't give nobody my name and who I am. If you're the head of something, then take the calls. Go through the work. That's a part of it because you never know.
But you realize, the question that arises, you are a colored native resident trying to act like people.
Oh, yeah.
The whole system is set up not for you.
Right. We're still post 1973. And like I said earlier, they're still acting like the oligarchies. We're still in
1648. Be back at 1648.
And this is why I keep saying to Bahamians, we cannot let our allegiance to color, our allegiance to family, our allegiance to who we know, cause us to make poor decisions when it comes to elections. You have to really and truly look at who is in your constituency vying for office and choose the person based on their ability, integrity, and their desire to see the Bahamas in a better place. Because if you say, I vote in FNM, I vote in PLP, I vote in DNA, you are shortchanging yourself. You are shortchanging yourself. Because at the end of the day, sorry, I can't, you went.
You used to champion that cause, in terms of trying to assess the election based on candidate quality. And I arrived at a point where the candidates are all seemingly Manchurian. The Manchurian candidate. So almost like you can go to a plastic shop and get it. 3 months before an election, you say, okay, here's what we're going to do. Number one, you have a little problem, and it ain't really a problem. But you have a bunch of people who are selected as candidates in your area. And if they selected as candidates in your area, they ain't nothing. Because they don't know you, they don't live in the area, they don't have a relationship with you. And once it's like that, it's a big loss.
And I agree with you, and sadly, as Bahamians, we need to, require more, because for me, I have a problem with this whole, in 3 months, you just come into the community, who you is? Do you really know the issues that's affecting this community?
Yeah.
Do you know what it is that the people in this community are going through and how you can bring change into the community? But as Bahamians, we have to say, hey, not just when it's election time. I will not accept this.
I agree.
So based on what you're saying, because we're scrolling down towards the end of the show, and we could talk about this all day long, because I feel like we, as a person, having to make a decision as to who they are to vote for or not vote for, which party to go to or candidate to go to. What would you like to say to your fellow Bahamians that are getting ready to go to the polls in 20 days to make a decision as to who is going to be the next government of the Bahamas? What would you say to them in terms of making that decision?
I would say to Bahamians that they should not only think about the immediate gratification that they may get from a candidate or a political party. Think about the future of the Bahamas, and like you alluded to before, our children. This has nothing to do with us. We're here just as representatives for our children,
right,
in what's going to happen in their future. Right. And me personally, I'd like to be able to come home. I want to retire. I want to come home to the Bahamas to be able to live and enjoy the quality of life that's there. There's no place else in the world I want to be. Right. And so do not vote just on, the gratification that you may get right now. Who could do something for you? Vote who will help to improve the country as a whole, and who will help to do things like Peter was saying with our natural resources. Who are going to champion causes like Aragonite, making sure that is a viable product that we have as the Bahamas have, and we earn from, not pennies.
Right.
So and sadly, I'd be honest with you, I really do not see a good amount of candidates who you would say you know something, you may have five in a couple areas, who you know ain't into nothing. But the bulk of candidates aren't even in the category where you can say these are people who will make a difference in the Bahamas. And it's sad to me.
Let me just say one thing. Right? Most of the candidates are political officers who want to go around politics. And my thing is that broke men and women can't afford a house. So how are you going to help them?
Okay.
But not only that, like you said earlier, I always say that. Remember, the person within your constituency is a representation of who you are. So they are representing your views. Make sure that person is representing your views. Is it their views or is it your views? Who is it? What's important to you? Is healthcare important to you? Is education important to you? Is the economy important to you? Is your safety important to you? We have to look at areas within our lives. The job market, is that important to you? As are you looking to be an entrepreneur and you're looking for changes to happen in those aspects? These are the questions that you need to ask when making a decision. Not, I heard someone, I saw on social media where one of the parties, they had a rally and the lady was talking about something that had no relevance. And she's yelling and she's screaming and the music is playing. This is not a party and this is not a game. And this is one of the major parties. This is not a party and this is not a game. This is the future of our country. And what we need to do is stop trying to be a leader, but try to be servants to your people. Because leaders are servants. You all want to be in charge and do whatever you want to do, but you're not willing to serve us. You're not the leader. We are the leaders.
Yeah.
So it's important for us to adhere to that. Peter, you wanted to add something?
Yeah, we don't suck on the Beetlejuice of power. You see, you may want a leader, but if the leader sucks on the Beetlejuice of power, the bubbies of power, the milk they suck, they don't have to pay and they can keep and get away with it. Yeah. As a consequence, it's never going to be good like that unless drastic things change.
Well, it starts with us, and it starts with us teaching our children. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're at the end of our show, and I want to thank my special guest tonight, Miss Frederica, for joining us. She's all the way in Missouri. I know it's warming up, but you heard her. That she wants to be home. She's longing for the ocean and the blue skies, and unfortunately, she had to move somewhere else in order to get the opportunities in which she was looking for at home, and that's sad. I feel ashamed. I feel ashamed of myself. I feel ashamed of the opportunities that my country has not afforded a lot of young persons out there, young and old, or persons out there that want to better themselves. So let's try to change the mindset and how we are doing, how we are forging forward. I also want to thank you, my viewing and listening audience. Without you, there will be no Dead Late Night Show. And don't forget to go to the polls. Don't listen to these people about going to the beach. I haven't heard that for a while. But just go to the polls, make your decision, vote whatever way you can. Do not sit home and say you're not going to vote, because if you don't vote, then, powers be, it's just as bad. You have no say. So please, act on it and do what you have to do, okay? Before I go, I want to leave you with this. Voting is a right best exercised by people who have taken time to learn about the issues. And that's by Mr. Tony Snow. For more information on this episode and to learn more about the Dead Late Night Show, please visit our Facebook page. We're working on our website. It's been down for a while. We're improving it. So we have the designers revamping that for us. So that should be up in a few weeks. If you have any questions, concerns, ideas, or opinions about the show, please email us at deadlatenight@gmail.com, or you could private PM us on the show through Facebook. We're also on YouTube. We have a YouTube channel. We have a Twitter channel. So you can also find us there. We're posting the videos slowly but surely. And I want you to tune in for another edition of the Dead Late Night Show tomorrow, Wednesday, April 19th. And we will continue the discussion. And it will be 19 days and counting tomorrow. Politics or Politricks, 2017 election. Have a great evening, good night, and Godspeed.
They got it.
Hold on. Hold on.